Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you've been having yourself a great day. I've enjoyed today actually, just chilling out, relaxing, watching a bit of football instead of talking about it. So that's been great. And we've got a very special guest today. We've got Pippa on with us. Pippa, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Rob?
I'm good, man. As I said, I was watching a bit of football today. Actually just finished watching a game, the Bayern Munich Frankfurt game, where Bayern won 5-2. It was a good game, and they were 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And Frankfurt pulled 2 goals back really quickly, and it was starting to look like it might be interesting. But Frankfurt's defending, if you think people who have a go at our defence and keep linking us to all these players in Germany, Jesus, the defending was dreadful, and Bayern are slick. Bayern are slick, and I'm looking forward to that game. On Tuesday night, Bayern are going to be playing Dortmund.
Yeah,
so really looking forward to that game. Really.
Hey, don't mention Bayern and 5 goals again in one sentence. When you said that, I was like, why, Rob?
You know what? I mean, saying how the defending is terrible, forgetting that they put 5-2 past us twice.
Exactly.
And then there was also a really good game earlier on. I watched you said you watched the Dortmund game.
Yeah, Dortmund Schalke on the weekend. Was it the weekend? I don't know what date it is anymore.
Oh, last week's one.
Yeah,
yeah. Dortmund played again today, but I watched the Bayer Leverkusen Borussia Mönchengladbach game. That was a good game. That was. That Kai Havertz again. He's a baller, man. Wouldn't it be great to have him at Arsenal? And one of the fascinating things, and this guy here, he talks about it. He says, Robbie, at Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Bayer Leverkusen game, fans paid money to charity to have cardboard mugshots in the stands. Would be awesome if Arsenal would do that during closed doors. It was pretty cool, right? What they did is basically on a load of the seats, they had pictures of fans. So it'd be like they get a picture and they put a cardboard cutout of you on the actual seat, and people paid for these cutouts to get done, and all the money that's raised from it's going to charity. So I thought that was brilliant. That was really good idea. But Germany again, getting it right, having the football on, and also hearing today news that La Liga, they've announced now today that they're definitely going to be restarting. A restart date set from the 8th of June. So La Liga will be coming back as well, and then probably a couple of weeks after the Premier League. So everybody's trying to get their leagues sort of back on.
It makes sense though, because I think they've realised now that Germany are ahead of the league, because now I feel like the Bundesliga has gained so many more fans. Because I'll be honest, I wasn't really a follower of the league like that. Obviously, I've been watching the games because it's football, so I've got loads more new fans. So it's a good look.
Yeah, that's it. You know what? And this was, I had this argument with DT. Me and him were going back and forth about this over the past couple of weeks. And that's one of the things I was saying as well. If we don't get the league started, and they do it in Germany, and they do it in like Spain, like they're doing now, Italy are planning to come back and say the Premier League we will fall far behind those leagues, because, everybody will be watching those leagues. It's a bit like what's happened with the Belgium leagues and the French league cancelling.
Yeah.
It looks very unsatisfactory now that those leagues have not finished their season.
You'd kind of forget about those players and that league when everything's moving forward. No one's going to be putting the players to sign from those leagues, because that's not the in thing no more.
Yeah. What about the women's football? Because that's under threat.
Yeah, I mean, they keep saying there's going to be meeting after meeting, but I feel like, I've been saying for weeks, I think it's going to be cancelled. There's been talks about it as well on Twitter, but I feel like there's going to be the next thing that comes out. I think it's going to be cancelled. I know people don't want it to be, but I think that's the best move for them. But I heard that FIFA and some other big brands are endorsing a lot more money in it for next season. So they will go again. I just don't think it will be now.
So you don't think if it does get cancelled, you don't think it will be terminal for some of these teams? Because I was like thinking about it. Wow, will some of them look at it and think to themselves, you know what? This ain't worth it. The amount of money we've lost. Or do you look on it? I suppose maybe the women's football is not so dependent upon the crowds as maybe the men's. I don't know.
No, of course not. That's not where their income, not their main income comes from. It's from like brand deals, I reckon, and the sponsorships. So like people not turn up to games, if they play behind closed doors, to many teams, it wouldn't, not to be rude, it wouldn't make much of a difference because a lot of crowds, you know, at some games get around 500 people. But like, I don't know what their main reason is for cancelling it. It's not cancelled, but I feel like with the way it's going, the conversation's been had, it doesn't look positive.
Well, not looking positive for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, keep your comments coming in. Loads coming in already. Most of them bigging up you, Pippa. Right? Andrew Chow says, evening both. La Liga to resume on the 8th of June. Can you imagine the Nou Camp and the Bernabeu being played in empty stadiums? Going to be surreal. Can you imagine? I mean, the one today, Bayern, that I've been to that stadium a couple of times, right? And that's an 80,000 capacity stadium. Nobody in there.
I've been to the Bernabeu, and it's still, to this day, still one of the best games I've been to. And I cannot imagine like the players going on that pitch and just playing to literally no one, not even a steward, just a couple medical staff and coach. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be so weird. It's so loud. There's big atmosphere. There's drums. There's flags waving. There's everything going on. Flares. It's just going to be weird, isn't it?
I mean, the games today, again, you know what I mean? You're watching them, but you're saying to yourself, it's just not the same, is it? But even when
Dortmund did that thing last week where they still went to the yellow wall that wasn't there and did the thing that they I thought, oh, that's cute, but it was still weird. I just thought, why did you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm looking forward to that game that's going to be on Tuesday. There's a question for you here, Pippa, from Arsenal 14 Forever. It says, Pippa, who will you bet on to score first in that game? Haaland or Lewandowski?
Because I feel like Lewandowski will always score. Do you know what I mean? But Haaland's a man of the moment, so it's a hard one. It's a 50-50, but I think I would go with the underdog. I don't think it'll be an underdog for many people, but for me, Haaland will be an underdog, and I'd say Haaland.
Okay. It's still very mixed on as well on starting back. Jeff says, as much as I would love to see the Premier League kick off, I strongly believe it should not return due to a second wave of COVID-19 could be approaching. What do you think, Robbie? My opinion is, as I sort of said to DT, a second wave could come.
Yeah.
And if a second wave came, they've already said that if it got really bad in that, they just shut it down again. So for me, they're making plans to try and start back. From what I can see of all the players, when they're all at training and that, they look glad to be back. And I think, you know, you can't just sit at home and second guess it. We've got to prepare to go back. If there's a massive second wave, then we have to stop.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But especially when you see, you know, this is now the second week of the Bundesliga being played. La Liga are starting back. The Premier League do need to try and get games back on if they possibly can do. But it has to be safe. George also says it is safe. Plus, I can't bear another Saturday without Gillette Soccer Saturday. Just want football back. It has to be safe, though, George. I mean, George is saying it is safe. It's not 100% safe. I don't think it's ever going to be 100% safe.
No. I know they're taking precautions now. Don't you think it's weird how, like, I haven't watched all the games, but at the Dortmund game, they were all like social distancing on the bench. Like the players were like meters apart. But when you go on the pitch, you're basically running next to each other.
Yeah.
So where was the logic in that one?
But they have been tested. They've all been tested. They've been tested. They're getting tested twice a week. Yeah. As I said, listen, at the moment, there is nothing, even with the test, there's nothing foolproof. I think, unfortunately, this is the thing that we're going to have to get used to, that at the moment, there is no 100%, there is no foolproof, is there?
Yeah.
You know, but other people are having to go to work. You've been working, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been working my ass off. Not literally.
So have you been tested in your job?
I haven't, you know. That's a good point, actually. But I've been keeping safe. I've been keeping my social distance, and I've been isolating when I'm not at work. So, but have they not, like your workplace, they haven't rolled out any tests for? No.
Because I mean, you work for a massive company, so. I know,
I would think so, but they haven't done. And I'm a part-timer, so I should ask the full-time stuff. But as far as I'm aware, I've not seen anything like that. You know, we just have.
So that's what I'm saying. You know, and you know, the job that you're doing, you could quite easily come into contact with people, and these footballers get them tested twice a week.
I know.
So I should be, you know, we should be more worried about people like you yourself than the players at the moment. But
Classism.
Sorry?
Classism, innit? Who's more important?
You should have been a footballer.
Yeah.
Andrew says, both. I want the Premier League to come back if safe. However, Kante at Chelsea is set to miss the rest of the season. What if more high-profile players start to pull out? As far as I know so far, it's Kante who said he's not going to play yet. And I think it's because he's had some respiratory problems before in the past, hasn't he? So he doesn't feel comfortable. And Troy Deeney, I know, has not been back to training. Obviously, Mariappa at Watford is self-isolating. But apart from those two, I don't really know of any other players who said they don't want to play it. I mean, Danny Rose was saying he feels like he's wrong and stuff like that. But the majority of players, they all you see them all training.
Yeah.
They seem happy to be back. And I don't know. I think a lot of times, as I said, we can get caught up with a lot of scaremongering because there are a lot of players that play football. So, you know, you're bound to get some people that, you know, and some players, and, you know, it's fair play to those players that don't want to go in and train or don't want to get involved. But, you know, if the vast majority are comfortable in coming back, they can get the games on. But I understand where he's coming from. There's still lots of comments coming in about the Bundesliga thing. Now, Ilya says, what are your thoughts on Marcus Thuram from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who scored today? He looked good, actually. He did look good. But Havertz, on the other side for Bayer Leverkusen, he was the star, man. Again, he's a very, very good player. Pippa, don't know if you saw these rumours, what they're talking about, Guendouzi and also Maitland-Niles, that there's rumours that Arsenal might sell him. I mean, obviously the Maitland-Niles one wouldn't be a shock because he's sort of not been playing, but I'd be really surprised on the Guendouzi one. I mean, according to some of these reports, which again, we never know whether they're accurate or not, they're saying because he's had some couple of discipline problems, they'd be willing to sell him. But I see that as a strange one because he seems a real top talent.
Yeah, I think he's had, especially in the transition from Emery to Arteta, like he had a really consistent run, and I feel like he was becoming a good player. Like when he first joined, he moved a bit erratic, and I couldn't see the potential. But I think he's a quality player in the midfield with such a young talent as well, and the call up, he was doing well. So to hear that is a bit of a shock. Like we always hear nonsense news that you just don't believe. But I can't lie, I knew my FIFA was telling me something, you know, because in my career mode, it was so random. Like every other day, I was getting a transfer request for Guendouzi from like Barcelona, Ajax, Bayern Munich, and I was thinking, why? But maybe they were trying to tell me something.
What about but Maitland-Niles though?
Well, there's been the rumours that obviously Hector Bellerin might be leaving, and so obviously we're probably going to go in for a right back. I don't think he will take that right back position, and if he was to go, who would he go to, and where would they assign him? Is he going to be a midfield player like he wants to be apparently, or is he going to be a right back? Like where? How do you know how to sign a player like that?
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about that, but that's true. What if you are another club and you're going to sign him? Or what would he? What would he want? Would he be like, right, I'm only going to go to a club where I'm going to play in the midfield? But then there's a lot of clubs ain't seen him in the midfield.
Exactly.
He only played for Arsenal there like once, you know.
Yeah.
I'd find it strange. The Guendouzi one, I'm finding strange.
Yeah.
People have forgot about Guendouzi, and you know he shouldn't because he's a very young player. He started off very well. He is very raw. He's still got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There has been these rumours about discipline, which he's got to start listening. But I'm surely, even if he did have a few little discipline problems, they'd have a bit more patience with him because he's so young.
I didn't know he had discipline. But I've heard I'm not saying names, but I've heard rumours of other players having discipline problems. So that's news to me about Guendouzi.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's like. I don't know what type of person he is, but
I don't. From what I've heard of some of the problems with discipline that he's had, those don't sound like serious discipline problems. You know what I mean? They sound more like a bit of a feisty kid. You know what I mean?
Like a young boy.
Sorry?
Like a young boy just living his dreams, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Tasia says, don't forget Guendouzi's running with Mikel Arteta in Dubai. Again, that was sort of a war. You know, it sounds more like he was being a bit cheeky or didn't want to listen to something that. But he's a very young player. I just think the newspaper here or they're putting 2 and 2 together and they're just saying, oh, lack of discipline. Maybe Guendouzi might leave. Let's do this as a story. I just can't see it.
Yeah,
I can't see, you know, the Maitland-Niles one I'm not sure about because I've been very surprised the way in which he was sort of dropped out of the team when he was actually playing pretty well.
Oh, that's true, actually, yeah. He hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, so that one wouldn't surprise me. Rowan says, loan Ainsley Maitland-Niles, sell Mkhitaryan and El Neni for 10 million minimum, and that's 220,000 wages off the wage bill. Minimum renew all essential contracts that are running down. Try to loan Coutinho and buy Partey. You need a job as a he needs a job either as an agent or working for Arsenal trying to get some transfer deals done.
I mean, sell Mkhitaryan and El Neni is a no-brainer, to be fair. I'm pretty sure most of the Arsenal fan base forgot we even had them as players.
Yeah, I know. And of course, they'll both be come back at the end of the season. And who will know whether those clubs are going to be able to, you know, sign them on a permanent deal because, you know, because of the whole situation, what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to... Ed plays, going back to what we was talking about, the safety. He says it's not up to us to say whether it's safe or not. It's the players who are at risk, and they are mostly all responsible adults. Let them decide, have a player vote about whether they return. Well, I think they voted with their feet already. They're back. And that is true. It's up to the players. So, and from what I can see, I was told by somebody at Arsenal a couple of weeks ago that the players are desperate to get back into training and play. They all want to play football again. They all want to, you know what I mean? That's what I was told. And certainly looking at on the faces of the players that were out there, you know, you saw the pictures yesterday. Yeah. They look pretty happy.
Yeah, you could say.
They're not going to show us pictures, I suppose, of them cussing or saying, you know, what are we doing here, I suppose. But
they're probably happy to just be out of the house away from their wives and kids, maybe.
All right, well, this is another one of the big stories for the day. And Sendry K says, what are your thoughts on Kolasinac? He's good offensive and always gets to the byline. He's underrated. First of all, tell me that, and then we'll get into the story that's around Kolasinac today. What are your thoughts on Kolasinac?
I'm one of the only few Arsenal fans that really appreciate him because I love the way he plays, the way he bombs down on the left wing. Like, I love that he plays forward. And defensively, obviously, he's not the best defensively. I mean, we all know that about our whole defensive back line. It's not the best. But for what he does do, I have confidence in him as a player. And when he plays at left back, and I like how he goes forward. He's got pace. He's got strength. He goes past players like it's nothing, which I wish Pepe would do on the right wing going forward. Like, do you know what I mean? So I like him as a player. I mean, his crosses could be better because he gets there. Sometimes he don't do enough. But I like what he does going forward. And he is underrated, but could obviously have better in that position.
Yeah, I don't see, and I was talking about it this morning because we've been linked with this Flico at Ajax, who is a left back, and I'm like, I don't see why we need to go and get a left back. We've got Kolasinac. I would have no problem with keeping him on. We've got Tierney, different type of left back, can bomb up and down and that. And then if those two fail, you've got Saka. So I really don't see why we keep getting linked to these left backs. Kolasinac, though, my thing on him is that he needs to be more consistent. You just see too many glimpses of what he can do. You know what I mean? He can be a real powerhouse, but he needs to be more consistent. He does need to get better defensively as well. He does get caught out sometimes. And sometimes you have to, is his stamina 100%. That's the other thing I think sometimes. But I wouldn't be disappointed if we kept him on. And then, he's the protector of the squad.
Yeah, basically, he's our bodyguard.
Now, you must have seen this story today about his missus. She got caught return. I think she was over in Germany, actually, in Frankfurt. Yeah. She got caught returning back to the UK with a stun gun. which of course is illegal to carry over here. She's got a license to carry it over in Germany, but no, obviously no license here. She brought it on the plane with her. Now, she was, well, they didn't say whether she's arrested or not. She must have been arrested, but she was cautioned at the airport by the police as to not make this happen again. So she's a very lucky lady. You know what I mean? She could have been a lot worse for her. But, you know, one of the reasons why she said, you say this to buddy.
Well, one of the reasons, I'll be in jail right now.
One of the reasons why they're saying that she got off with it is that, you know, they're trying to take into account, or one of the reasons why she said she had it is because she's been so worried since that incident, you know, with her husband, where, of course, famously they were attacked, you know what I mean? Kolasinac and Özil. So could you understand why she had that?
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it, I don't want to sound bad, but in my head I was thinking, why do you need a stun gun when you're married to Kolasinac? Like, he's the ultimate bodyguard. But no, in all seriousness, I can see why she's in fear, because it was just an unwarranted attack on them randomly by a bunch of random guys that tried to just get a couple of watches or whatever it was. And I can understand why she's in fear. She's in another country that she's not used to, and so many reasons why you'll be fearful. But I mean, who gets on a plane with a gun? Who does that? Who? Honestly.
But you know what? Well, they sorry?
Was it a private jet, or was it an actual like normal chartered plane?
It's a private jet. So she's coming back on a private jet. Now, the thing that they reckon saved her is that she actually asked beforehand, is it all right to bring this in? Right? Now, I'm sorry, I'm not really, this is the excuse for it, and I'm not sure if I'm buying this. I reckon that she got a little touch and they let her off, right? Because of who the Kolasinac, and probably because of the incident. Because she said that she asked before she boarded the flight, is it all right to bring this stun gun in? I've got it, right? The people with the private jet, who are in charge of the private jet, then message her to say, no, you can't bring that into the country. But she was already on the flight. So she couldn't get the message that they were sending to her. So they then messaged the police at the other end and said, listen, she's going to be landing and she's got this on her. And then they stopped her, and then that's how. Now, because she asked about it beforehand, and because they sent her a message, but she couldn't access that message, that's why she got the caution and she didn't get arrested. Although, if you're unsure, why bring it on in the first place, isn't it? The fact that she said I'm not too sure about that.
Like, sorry for sounding broke, right? But I've never been on a private jet. But do you not go through security the same way, or do you just go on the jet?
Yeah, you go through security.
So why is the security allowed her to go in with a gun then?
Well, they've obviously not searched. So I honestly, I'm not completely buying the whole, but I do understand why she might have had it, because you know what? When you check it out, right, a lot of these footballers have been targeted by some of these. Dele Alli the other day, he got attacked in his own house.
That's twice now, no?
Sorry?
I think that's the second time for him, no? Is
that the second time?
I believe so. I could be wrong. Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of players that have been robbed. There's been Man United players that have been robbed while they're, while they're away playing as well. A lot of times, what these guys do is they wait until they're away playing a game, away in Europe and stuff like that, and then that's when they go to rob them. So she might be looking at it and thinking, well, we say you said he's the best bodyguard in the team, which is true. And why would you need a stun gun? You're married to Kolasinac. But what about when the thieves know Kolasinac ain't there? Because that's the thing, isn't it? They can work it out. They can say, right, well, you know what? Yeah, you know what I mean? They're away at Newcastle today.
Yeah.
Whilst the game's on, let's go around it. And she could be there on her own. She wants to protect herself. It's definite, though, that these footballers getting targeted at the moment by some of these thieves. Definite.
And it's always the same thing. They're always going for the watches. I remember the one that was local, not local to me, but in East London, Jordan I got attacked on the roadside. They took his watch and stuff. And it's always the same. Yeah, that was in the news a few years ago. Yeah,
it's happening a lot. It's happening a lot. Obviously, you know, footballers have got a lot of money. But I don't know. I don't know what they can do about this. But this is happening This is happening a lot, and you can understand why maybe she was carrying this stun gun. They don't mess about in that family, trust me.
They're on smoke, Robbie. Anyone can get it.
Right, let's get into some more of those comments. I want to hear what you guys have got to think of that as well, about the Kolasinac thing. Shrey says, Robbie, if Tagliafico joins Arsenal, it probably means that Hector is going and Tierney may play at right back. He's good in that position. After the Ali situation, I wouldn't be surprised even if Kelechi has a gun. To me, listen, they're not going to switch Tierney to the right side. He can play right if he has to cover. Tierney's a left back. We do not need Tagliafico, in my opinion. We've got enough cover in that area. We need to concentrate on the areas where, defensive midfield, defense. That's my opinion. Ed Play says Saka has proved himself at left back, so tie him down. Time down well. Kolasinac and Tierney as backup. It means that we've got a left back who could get into both our first team, and Saka is young and hungry and will convert.
Has he signed yet, though?
Sorry?
Has he signed yet, though?
No, not yet. Where would you play Saka?
I would either play him.
You're the manager. Where would you play him?
I would either play him left mid.
No, you can only. I want you to choose where you're right. You've got to choose where you play. You can play both of those positions, but where would you play him? Where would you play him? Ideally,
it's hard to say. I've enjoyed seeing him play at left back. Even like the first few times, it looked very, very uncomfortable. Aubameyang was covering for him the whole time, but I've enjoyed it, and that's what I'm used to seeing him play now. So I'd probably say left back because that's the vision I have with him now.
I'd be more than happy to see him at left back, definitely. Abhinav says, Kolasinac is a beast we've got. I like him, unstoppable when going forward. We've already got variety in left back. We don't need any. So, yeah, I agree with that. I don't, but I know there was a guy here who was totally disagreeing with that. I'm just trying to find his comment.
Yeah.
I can't find it now.
Who's been your best left back at Arsenal?
Kolasinac is an armoured tank, says 80. Who's been
your best left back at Arsenal for you
this season?
Like, or in the last 10 years or whenever?
Oh, best. You know what? Me and Claude were having this argument the other day. I think Ashley Cole.
Oh yeah, I thought you was going to say that.
He says Kenny Sansom. Kenny Sansom was brilliant.
Taking it back, boy.
Yeah, Kenny Sansom was brilliant though. But I don't know, Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole was sort of one of the first of that breed of modern day left back, bombing up and down, and we felt it when we did feel it when he left. Yeah.
That's why it was such a big deal, wasn't it? And everyone's supporting him.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yeah.
What about the Thomas Partey? Sorry?
I've been wanting him to come, but everyone says why though? Like he hasn't shown enough. What's the reason out of all the defensive midfielders, why Partey?
Well, I think in the games that I've seen him play, he's looked good.
Same, but I've only seen him in about 4 games, so is that enough to go on?
Winfred Tom says we don't need Saka at left back. Look at Alphonso Davies as a left wing, and now he's number one. One of the best left backs in Europe. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. He said, why don't you keep Saka at left back? Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that to me, Saka looks better at left back than he does on the left wing. I don't know. Maybe it's like you said, because we've been seeing him play there regularly there now.
Yeah, that's what we're used to. And he's doing
right now, if all 3 of the left backs are fit,
you'd pick Saka. Yeah.
Sendry is saying Saka is a winger, Robbie. He's a goal scorer. Reminds me of Vincenus Jr.
That's so true as well. We can't forget that. I reckon he can get forward and score goals if we played him in attacking midfield on the left. Because that's the reason why everyone likes seeing him at left back is similar to the reason as Kolasinac, because he's not afraid to go forward. Like you say, the modern day left back, he runs forward. Look at the assists he's made this season.
Joey says, if we play Saka at left back, then Martinelli can start on left wing. That's another good shout.
Nice.
If we lose Aubameyang, where would you play? So if we lost Aubameyang, would that be an alternative to you then? Maybe pushing Saka forward, playing on left wing, and then play Martinelli down the middle?
Yeah, possibly. Play Martinelli up front, because obviously he's a goal scorer and he's very confident as well. I know that he would do it. And Saka will provide goals as well as whoever else we still have in that midfield. I don't know who's going to be there. I know Ozil will probably still be there, innit?
He'll still be there. Don't worry about that. Ilias says Saka has the freedom to go forward in Arteta's system when he plays as a left back. Lone Star Londoner is saying that Martinelli should start every game.
Ahead of who? Ahead of who?
All right, Lone Star Londoner, tell us. Who should he start ahead of?
Like where? Do you want him to start what, left wing or up front? Talk to me, Lone Star.
All right, Lone Star. Bring it in. Bring it in. Dr. Viraj says, hi, Robbie. What are your thoughts on Jeremy Ali-Aladir's comments about Arsenal making the wrong investment in buying Nicolas Pepe? Do you think he'll really turn out good next season? What Ali-Aladir was saying, basically, what to be honest, what he said was basically what a lot of fans have been saying. It's the way they wrote the headline. Ali-Aladir slams Arsenal. He wasn't slamming Arsenal. He was just saying that he was surprised that they didn't go for defenders first, which everybody was saying that.
Yeah.
There's nothing really unique in what he was saying, and there's nothing really different to what a lot of fans were saying. But we got Pepe, and as somebody pointed out this morning, sometimes you have some signings that come up that are too good to not go for. So maybe that fell into that category, and I think he'll come good, Pepe. What about you? I know you've been a bit uncertain about it, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm still a bit uncertain. I mean, at the time, I don't want to bring it up again, but at the time, it was obviously between him and Zaha, and I wanted Zaha because obviously he's got that experience in the Premier League, and we know what he can do. I didn't really know Pepe, and for that price tag, I was just like, okay, he needs to be amazing then, and I haven't seen amazing yet. And there's so many simple things that he could have done in so many games that he doesn't. He just doesn't. He's got pace, and I always say it. He never just knocks it past the player and he just runs past them. He just does too much sometimes. But, you know, he scored some great free kicks and he scored a nice goal against West Ham. So, you know, can't complain too much.
Next season, you're going to see the best of him, man.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
We have to.
Yeah.
Diego Rodriguez says, Robbie, Pepe should play on the left wing, not the right. Going on his left, he would be unplayable. On the right, he always cuts in. On the left, he'll be like Sane at City. What do you think of that?
What, play Pepe on the left, they said?
He does always cut in, don't he?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's a thing that they should be sort of alternating, you know? Celtic Stan says Tierney left back and Saka left wing, then put Martinelli up the front or on the right wing. I remember when Martinelli played on the right wing, he had a poor game. He didn't seem...
But I'm not mad at that suggestion. I reckon Tierney left back, Saka left wing, Martinelli up front. That could 100% work. So many young talents with like that could do bits. Okay,
Pranav said we should play a 4-4-2. Laka and Aubameyang, Martinelli, Xhaka, Torreira, Pepe, Saka, Saliba, Luiz, Bellerin, and Leno. What are your thoughts? It can help with our defense a lot.
I mean, yeah, for the rest of the season maybe, but I don't think that starting 11 will be here next season.
I'm not too sure if our midfield's strong enough to play 4-4-2 at the moment.
Do you reckon? What, Xhaka and Torreira? Not strong enough?
Well, look at the season.
Yeah.
A lot of times teams have just walked through that midfield. I don't know, 4-4-2. I think against, you know what I'd say? Some teams we should play 4-4-2 against. But there's you play a 4-4-2, for instance, against a team like Liverpool, you get torn apart.
But Show Gabriel said 4-4-2. What is this, 1996?
Well, listen, you should be always fluid with your formations anyway.
Yeah, true.
Ben Cook says, hi both, I'm a Liverpool fan. I love the show. Watch every day. Arsenal should be able to tie down players to contracts without issue. I can understand Aubameyang, but what could? So he's saying he can understand Aubameyang, but why, the Saka things and stuff like that, we should be getting those sorted out.
I don't know. Maybe they're just offering ridiculous contracts and the agents look at it and think Arsenal are taking them. I have no idea. I wish I knew, Bob. We always question this every time this happens, and it's so often. Like, why are these contracts not juicy enough to make a player say, right, I'm signing that right away. I'm signing it before you've even written it. I feel like that's how players should be at Arsenal. Before you even tell me what the contract is, I'm happy to sign it because this is Arsenal. But clearly...
you sound like Arteta. He was saying the same thing.
No, but it's true, though. There's obviously something in these contracts that are just not flattering or not appetizing for the players to think, I want to spend another 2-3 years here. Like
ambition.
That's it. There's not enough ambition, maybe.
People want to see ambition. Daniel says maybe Saka doesn't want to play at left back. Ainsley Maitland-Niles scenario again. He can play as a goalkeeper for all I care, as long as he signs a contract, Robbie.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Could that be a sticking point? Could that be a sticking point in that contract that he doesn't want to play there?
What, do you think the contract says if we sign you for 2 years for this fee, for this wage, you have to play at left back?
No, maybe not that. But maybe he's saying, I'll sign, but I want guarantees that I'm going to be playing as a midfielder. I don't want to play at left back. Well, I mean, we don't know. This is speculation, but I wonder, you never know.
Maybe, but I mean, if you're doing well, then what's the problem? Obviously, I'm not in their shoes. I don't know what it's like to be a professional athlete. But obviously, if you work that hard, you probably want to be in a position that you desire to be in. But at the same time, if you work that hard to be a professional footballer and you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, what's wrong with playing at left back instead of left? You're still on the left. Okay, you've got to do more groundwork, more defensive work, but you're still playing for a very good team.
Okay. Ilias says Maitland-Niles should look at Saka. Look at what Saka has done. He's played at left back by making this position his own. Saka also didn't like playing at left back. Has that been a bit of Maitland-Niles' downfall, that he sort of came out publicly and said, I want to play in midfield and stuff like that?
I kind of wish he didn't say that, but at the same time, he didn't say it publicly. I don't know how that information came out. I don't know how all this Arsenal information keeps coming out, to be honest. But
snitch.
Yeah, snitches up there, 6'9" and that. But listen, I think if he didn't say that, there wouldn't be this whole situation going on, because there were certain games, especially at the start of this year, start of 2020, that Maitland-Niles started to look like a right back. So you would never, you watch football for the first, well, not the first time, but like, you wouldn't think that he was a midfielder. You'd think this is his position. Do you understand? So I kind of wish that comment didn't come out, because it's kind of painted him in the wrong light now.
The Vector says, hi, Robbie. Love from Nepal. He says, if Bellerin leaves, who do you think? Cedric could be a proper replacement. Now, there's been rumours about the possibility of Bellerin could leave in the summer. Pippa, number one, would you be disappointed if that happened? And number two, if that did happen, could Cedric replace him?
I mean, sentimentally, I'd be a bit upset, but for the love of the club and going forward, I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be upset, to be honest. And Cedric, to be honest, I almost forgot that we had him, because we haven't really seen him play. So it's a kind of hard question to say, could I see him as a proper replacement? Possibly, like, he could be there for cup games and stuff, but I think we need to get I can't say proper right back, because he is a proper right back, but like someone that I have confidence in that could come in at this time of the season and to start fresh next season to do the job. Oh, whoops.
What are you breaking here? Lassie says, I think a lot of players around the world, around Europe, are looking at Arteta and Arsenal, and they see the same as we see. We will be a force next season or next. You got faith in Arteta?
I do, I actually do. Ask me again in a year's time. It's too early for me to say anything negative about him, because I have enjoyed him so far. So,
okay. Paul Making 1980 says, "Hi Robbie. What about Arsenal signing Goetze? He's available on a free." Well, we had Max on the show last week, who Borussia Dortmund fan who was saying that, you know, basically how he was describing Goetze is like, nah, he's at the end.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty much finished because he had a really bad illness at one point, no? And
yeah, I mean, he's back on that, but he's saying that he's not the same Goetze as back in the day.
I didn't think so.
Fame Extract says Hakimi would be a proper replacement. Now he scored today as well. And he's looking a proper player. He will be going back to Real. He's on loan actually to Dortmund from Real Madrid, and he's going back at the end of the season. There'll be a lot of clubs looking to try and get him. Let's get this. There was a comment for you, but I missed it.
For me?
Another one about Mario Götze. Fabio says, what do you think about Mario Götze? He's kind of like Ramsey, was class when he won the World Cup, but he may want high wages. Also, Robbie, 4-3-3 with Partey, Torreira, and a goal-scoring midfielder. I like that. Mario Götze, no. No. Just like Show Gabriel says, Götze is done out here. You know? And, yeah. I agree with that. Götze, that's gone now. He was good, you know, but nah. Götze, I didn't ask you.
As soon as you mentioned his name, I thought that's not a player anymore. Do you know what I mean? I feel like at the end of the line.
Yeah. No. Mohammed says Arsenal young talent is going to prove themselves next season. It's going to be difficult for Arteta to pick his players, especially as he has a lot of faith in the team. It's experimental. Yeah, we're relying a lot on the young players, man, but you need senior players as well.
Yeah, but we've got some really quality young players, but I don't think a lot of them will get the time of day.
Like who?
Reece Nelson. I don't think he's going to get the time of day over Pepe. Joe Willock, even though there was a big hype of him of the beginning of the season of signing the proper new contract, I don't think we'll see much of him either.
No.
I hope so because he does a decent job.
I reckon, well, maybe not necessarily so much him, but I think a lot of the young players will get a lot of football next season. But
I don't know who your grandfather is. In fact, I don't know who you are. You can tell me in Siri settings. Tap on from your contacts.
My Siri just went off randomly like that.
You didn't even mention the word.
I don't know your grandfather is. In fact, I don't know who you are. You can. Hey, these things are listening in on that.
You didn't even mention the word grandfather
to say that.
That's mad. That's mad.
It's mad. It's mad. Disband Gunner says, hi, Robbie. With the current situation of the board not providing us funds, we could still sell 7 to 8 players and buy top quality players, including Thomas Partey. Also, we have a strong youth recruitment. I keep saying to a lot of people, it's all right to say, let's sell 7, 8 players, but they've got to want to leave.
Yeah.
If you've got a player like Ozil, he's on £350,000 a week with a year left. Nobody's going to pay him that wages. Why would you leave Disband? If Arsenal came to you and said to you, yo, Disband, here what, right? We want to sell you. You'd be like, all right, I'll go if you can find me another club that's going to pay me 350 grand a week. If not, I'm staying until that contract's up. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
You know, so just to say sell players is too easy. Easy as that. Ejaz says, how much would buyer demand for Kai Havertz? Well, every week that Bundesliga is being played, man, you know, and he's banging goals and looking so good, that price is going up and up and up.
Up, sir.
You're talking, he's a 70 million plus player now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he'd be perfect for us.
Yeah, but we ain't got that type of bread. It's not going to happen. I've signed him.
You signed him for your FIFA team?
Yeah.
Mally Wright says, hi, Robbie and Pippa. What about Grealish as an attacking midfielder, and how much will he cost in this corona time?
I've also signed him too, and he's done absolute hits for me. So that's not even a bad chat. Obviously, we can't go off FIFA, but going on real life, I feel like he's above Aston Villa now, if I can say that. I mean, yeah, I think he is. I think because even the times he was meant to be rumoured to be going Man United, I even thought that's a steal for Man United because that's a player that they've got there, and I wouldn't mind having him at Arsenal. I know not a lot of people will agree, but going attacking midfielder, I think he'll do. Working with players like Aubameyang in front of him and Lacazette, I think he can provide for us. And he's gritty, he's skillful. What more do you want?
I like him.
Yeah.
All right, if you had a choice then, him or Havertz?
I mean, I would say Havertz, but if we're talking realistically, let's bring Grealish. He knows the Prem, he knows the players he's playing against. He's played against all of them before. He's got to FA Cup finals. He's played against us and we took the pride away from him. Do you know what I mean? He knows what he's doing and he's a quality player.
All right.
Would you say?
Who would I get out of those two?
Yeah.
That's difficult, you know, because like you said, Grealish is Premier League ready. And that counts for a lot. And I'll be very impressed with Grealish. Very impressed. That's difficult because Kai Havertz is also a bit of a creator as well. But then I'll go probably Grealish. Grealish, just because, like you said, he's got that Premier League. He'd be able to just jump straight in.
Exclusive, Jack Grealish signs for Arsenal.
I'll take any of them right now, I'll tell you that. Joey AFC largely says, big up legend Pippa for me. Love you guys.
Hi, Joey. He's a regular viewer of mine on my FIFA streams.
Oh, is it?
Hello, Joey. Love Joey.
Oh, big up, big up. GB says, Grealish wears the socks down to mimic George Best. Gets in trouble the same way. He clearly wants to go to Man United. United have been linked with him.
Sometimes.
Who knows what's going to happen? But I do rate Grealish. I think he's underrated as well. I'm surprised he's not in the England, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Arnav says, I trust in Mertesacker. He can get a lot out of our youths. And Karen says, probably Arsenal must consider on transfer.
Attacking mid,
like Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but would we pay that sort of dough? We all know what we need, but would we pay that sort of dough? Jamie says, hi Robbie and Pippa. Thoughts on Bellerin potentially getting the armband, even though in the past he slagged off Alexis for having a winning mentality.
He's gonna get the armband, is he?
Well, it's not that they said they're going to give him the armband, but apparently he's quite publicly said that he'd love to be the Arsenal captain.
Yeah.
If Aubameyang was to leave, he'd be well up for that. Would you be happy with him as a captain? I mean,
he's probably one of our longest-serving players. He knows the club well, and he's probably well respected in the changing room, so it makes sense for him to be team captain. Would it be a fan favourite for captain? No, I'm not sure. I feel like even though I don't know them personally, I feel like there's other players who have not been there as long that have more of an influence on the changing room and are more leaders, like David. But
what this guy's saying is, which I always wonder how, if it was kind of taken out of context, but Bellerin sort of said that Alexis was that sometimes he was too driven, he was too, and
what's wrong with that?
Didn't really make him. I think he was trying to sort of say like it didn't really make him a good person in the dressing room because of his winning mentality. Now, a lot of people interpreted that and said, "Well, what do you want? You want someone there as a loser?" You know, so that's why this guy's questioning the fact that why would you have him as a captain? But I think he is a fan's favourite, definitely. But like you said, is he that guy that's gonna?
And what you just said,
I mean, we don't know because we're not in the change room, so we don't know. But is he that guy's going to get stuck into people and say, "Yo, come on, man"? Is he going to be the guy that drags?
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
Oh. And what you said, just to touch on that, what you said about him having a problem with Alexis, I've been watching that Michael Jordan documentary, and Michael Jordan was just like that, ambitious as hell, always wanted to win, aggressive, but he still got the team to championships, titles, trophies, whatever you want to call it, championships. What's wrong with having that winning mentality? You need that in the change room. That's the same reason. That's the same reason Fabregas left, because there are not enough players. Was it Fabregas or Van Persie? Van Persie, probably both of them, because not enough players want to have that driven mentality. You're not there to be liked. As much as it's a plus, you're not there to be liked. You're there to win and enjoy yourself.
Look at that! Look at that change room when we went invincible. Look at that change room.
Leader.
You know, Henry, all these sort of guys. These guys are winners, right? Look at they showed 89 the other day. You know, I mean, you see guys like Rocastle, Davis, and Michael Thomas, and you know, all these guys. You know, they're driven.
Yeah.
When in the past with teams of Tony Adams, and you can't go out there and put in a half-hearted performance and come back and look those guys in the eye.
Yeah.
They're into you. You need that. Has been missing at Arsenal. That is what has been missing at Arsenal for so long.
So long.
You've got talented players, but we haven't got those. You know, and some of the play. That's why sometimes with the whole captaincy thing. I saw Unai Emery the other day saying that, oh, when I did the captaincy, it was the decision was 50% mine and 50% the players. You've got to pick the right captain for the job, and that captain has to be a driven individual who leads by example. And there's been a lack of that at Arsenal over the years. You look at some of the captains in the past, like as I said, look at Vieira, look at Sol Campbell's, and you know, these characters as well. It's not even just about the armband, the characters. Those guys are winners.
It's got to be
winning mentality.
Yeah.
And so I see where people come from when they hear those comments, because they're like, well, what do you want? You want a bunch of people that come into the change room and just when you lost the game, they don't really feel it. They're just like, well, on to the next game. You know what I mean? Nah. I want people in that dressing room that are hurt, that are like, come on, man, and calling out other players and say, what was you doing out there? You know, there's not enough of that in Arsenal, and it hasn't been. It's been a comfortable dressing room for too long. This guy says, Robbie, do you think Arsenal are pushing youngsters too hard? A lot of players at Arsenal, like Fabregas, Ramsey, Wilshere, Bellerin, are plagued by injuries and finished by the time they were 29. That's a
good point. Came with the stat. I don't know, you know.
It's a decent point. I mean,
maybe they're players that are trying too hard, because those are players that weren't initially first team starters. Maybe they're trying too hard to get into the team. Not like Fabregas, though, but like the likes of Ramsey at one point, even Wilshere at one point. He was but those are players that are probably fighting for their place. That's probably why they're just burnt out. Yeah.
And that's why we have to be careful sometimes with some of the young players. I mean, at the moment, as I said, everybody and their dog is saying, Saliba's going to do this. We ain't even, steady on.
Yeah.
Steady on. He's got to come in. He's got to acclimatise. He's got to settle into football. It's going to be a lot different from French football. You know, I'm just there like, we're putting a bit too much pressure on Saliba right now, in my opinion, you know. Peace Love says, looking deep into the stun gun situation, what I take from it is she wants Kolasinac to move back to Germany. Don't be surprised when he moves after this season. And you know what? I think you were saying it before we came on here. You were saying it, that a lot of footballers might start getting put off by this, that how regularly this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, in this country. I remember one time reading that there was a lot of players who didn't want to go to Marseille because of that. There's just so many footballers and that have been robbed in the city of Marseille that there was a lot of players that were like a bit wary of, wanting to go there.
Yeah. I mean, they probably don't expect that when they come here, because if you're not from the UK and you're from abroad and you see London, you think, oh, Big Ben, London Eye, tourist life, fancy, Trafalgar Square. You don't think that you'd fall into those situations, but in every part of this world, there's the gutter, and there's people that will come for you, that if you've got money, and it's sad to see, but there's some bottom of the barrel people that will take opportunities and think, right, I know he's got money, I know he's driving down this road this time. I know where he lives. Pounce. And it's not nice to feel threatened like that, especially when you're not from this country. So I wouldn't be surprised if she convinces him to go back to Germany or go back somewhere where they'll feel safe.
Darren Campbell says, Pippa, most players left to win things because Arsenal players are just too comfy, and that's what really pisses me off.
And as much as it bothers me, I don't even want to mention the names that some of the greatest players that we've had over the last 10 years and before have left to rival clubs, gone on and won things. I can't even be mad. I'm mad, but I can't even be mad at them on a personal level because you went to do what you had to do. You've started off as a child in this career. You've set goals for yourself that you want to achieve, and it wasn't going to happen for your Arsenal. So I can't be mad at them, but at the same time, what are we doing, man? What are we doing as a club? Where are we going wrong? That you can be at Arsenal for so long, achieve nothing, walk into a club and next year win the trophy. Where are we going wrong here?
Maybe it's the winning mentality, like we've been saying. John SC says Bellerin is not a winner; he's a diva. Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Oh my god, oh, that's savage.
That is savage. That is savage. Akil says, Robbie. Also, we can't sell Holding and Chambers. We need an English backbone who can tell the new kids what the North London derby means and Arsenal stands for. Even Berg said English players set the atmosphere in Highbury. Yeah. But they've got to be good enough as well. To me, it's got to be good enough, man. You know what I mean?
What does he mean by?
I want to see an English core. I want to see a lot of players from the academy and that in the team. I want to see a lot of English players playing, but they have to be good enough.
Yeah.
You know, they have to be good enough. Twisted says, Pippa, do you play football and what's your favourite position?
I used to, but it was a very long time ago. And I mean, I didn't think I was that good, but apparently I was decent. I can't even do nothing now. And I used to play at centre back. I was a defender. I swear my lanky self. Huh?
What style of centre back was you then? Who would you, if you was to compare yourself to a centre back playing now in the Premier League, who would it be?
Honestly, I don't know because I never took myself seriously. But if I had, I wasn't that good.
Mustafi?
I was. Maybe.
You always go to the ground, weren't you?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. But my favourite position is attacking midfield or centre mid. Yeah.
All right. Paul Making 1980 says, great talk, Robbie and Pippa. What are your thoughts on the Newcastle takeover by the Saudis? Bad news for Arsenal. We had a Matty the other day from the Newcastle channel on here. He was smiling more than you, trust me.
Is it?
Man, because he's just like, they're worth over 280 billion.
Huh?
200. The guys at the guys at Man City are worth about 20 billion. These Saudi guys are worth over 280 billion.
Hey, what's his number? You got his phone number? That's crazy. That's crazy money.
Is it bad news for Arsenal?
Well, Newcastle are going to be in the Champions League next year.
Yeah,
they're going to bring Kai Havertz. They're going to bring Kai Havertz in.
The fact that, listen, we joke about that. They will have the ability to sign those players.
Yeah,
they will have the ability. You won't be hearing no Newcastle fans say, "Well, what about the wages and the wage bill?" Because these guys, the amount of money they've got, they can do it. Yep. So it is bad news for Arsenal. Really is. Because there's another team in the mix that can take away European places. So it's bad news. I really think it is bad news for Arsenal. And they need to be actually somebody at Arsenal needs to be sitting down and starting to assess the competition that we face now over the next few seasons. Everton's another team.
Yeah.
Big.
They might as well hire me. They might as well hire us because we know what we're talking about.
PC Gaming and Tutorials says, realistically, Robbie, who do you want Arsenal to sign? There's no chance of getting Havertz. Love the channel, by the way, but I'm a United fan. Big up. Realistically, I think we could get Partey.
Yeah.
I said it yesterday. I was like, especially if Torreira did leave, I think we could get Partey realistically. What about you, Pippa? Who would you like to see us sign?
What? Just one? What? Just picking one?
Yeah.
I mean, Partey realistically, but like I said earlier, as an attacking midfielder, I'd bring Grealish in.
Okay, Grealish.
Yeah.
Neil Salzman says FFP still applies, Robbie. Well, they've been saying that what they're going to do because of the problems that the clubs face with the coronavirus, that they're going to relax FFP, which will allow owners of clubs to spend more money, just so that they can, start to get things back to normal. So if that's relaxed, that opens the door for Newcastle to just go out there and buy whatever.
Yeah.
So don't hold on to FFP, mate. Don't hold on to FFP because they're going to be able to spend big. They're going to be able to spend big. Daniel says, Pippa, what do you think about Claude's info? Now, Claude came on the show the other night and said how his source had told him that Aubameyang's definitely signing a new deal. 1 year extension with an option of another year. What did you think of Claude's source?
Sounds great, mate, but I don't know where he got that source from. I think it's out of date. Might have found it on the back shelf of his cupboard because I don't know what. I know it's not a real source though, is it? Who told him? Did Aubameyang tell him? Was it Aubameyang's dad? Taking rumors from dads these days. So
Claude, he said he's the voice of reason, man. He said he knows.
I trust him because normally when he says something, it's normally actually true. But I'm just thinking, how do you know that one though?
Said rumors before and they haven't come true.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Omar says, Pippa, when do you see fans being allowed into stadiums again?
No idea. I don't think anytime soon. I don't think, myth. I don't think, maybe, Rob, I don't know, maybe like end of next season. I know it sounds far, but I think realistically, where are we now?
Well, we're in May now, aren't we?
This season's probably going to run over until August or something. Then the new season, I don't know if it will start back in when obviously when will that start? November? Who knows? Maybe next summer. It sounds crazy, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Work on some sort of way.
But look how many people. Even when I'm leaving the stadium, I'm like this.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's the solution, but Lee Judges was saying it last night. Do we want to be seeing these games being played with no fans, man? It's just like, it's not the same. It's just like, we've got to somehow get, Mike Dennis says there'll be no fans in a stadium until there's a vaccine. I don't know. That could be years, because the thing is, even if there was a vaccine tomorrow, how long would it take to roll it out?
Yeah. Do you know what?
Even like with testing, we ain't even getting tested yet. And there's tests. So how long would it take for everyone to get vaccinated?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's a really horrible thought, but I don't know what we're gonna do, man. We've got to try and get fans back somehow. But you can't put people's lives in danger, can you? I don't know.
They might do like a lottery service where like members and season ticket holders, 1 week a certain selection can sit in that stand, that like separate them out in different. Do you know what I mean? So like season ticket holders, certain games, those people in that block can. I don't know. Just a suggestion.
Well, I think they've muted that as sort of the starting phase. To sort of get like, a socially distanced crowd in. Even that, well, that's better than nothing, but
I'm not picked every week. I'll be fuming.
Huh?
I'd be mad if I don't get picked every week. Like, you see, what about me?
You'd have to tap on your little contacts you got at Arsenal. You know what I mean? East Love says Ozil replacement, Captain Jack Daniels.
I like that.
And we're going to do a couple more because we're coming to the end of the show tonight. It's flown past again. As says Stan Kroenke's family's filthy rich, but Arsenal still struggling to buy players. Hashtag cheapskate. Is he being a cheapskate for you, or?
I don't know how the business works.
At all?
I don't know how the business works. Obviously, I would say he's a cheapskate because I don't feel like he's doing enough but like how fans look at things, it doesn't seem like enough's being done. But who knows what's going on? Who knows what the finances are really saying for the club? Because as much money he has, is that the money that Arsenal has? Because his money's separated in different places.
Well, most certainly it ain't out. It doesn't seem to be coming to us, does it?
No.
Alpha X says, Robbie, I'm worried Aubameyang hasn't signed. Chelsea on the verge of Coutinho, and teams like Newcastle, Manchester United, Spurs, Wolves, Sheffield United, and Leicester are pushing. Who do you think we could get? Well, Partey possibly. I don't know. I'm worried too. John says, Robbie, I haven't watched the Bundesliga games yet. I want to know how social distancing is practiced during free kicks and corners.
What do you mean?
So, basically, there is no social distancing in those games. They just play like normal games. So, it's a risk. A risk. And last couple, MN says, so does the other 10 to 20 people on here?
Wait, what?
The other 10 to 20 plus people on here, laugh out loud. I don't blame you, as everyone is doing it too, of course.
What's he referring to?
I don't know.
Why did you pick that one then?
I don't know.
Make the nose.
I don't know. It just came up, right? And I was just trying to click the first one that came up. I'm trying to be fair. You see what it is? I'm trying to be fair to people and pick them out. Last two.
All right.
Robbie, how do we replace Ceballos leaving?
Is he definitely?
Probably at the end of the season, it sounds like he could be on his way back to Real Madrid. Kai Havertz or Greenish. There you go. Perfect replacements. No Name says, not bothered about Newcastle. They will eventually increase the amount of teams in the Champions League. That might be the only way we can get back in it.
How?
Huh?
How?
By them increasing it, by them saying, 10, the top 10.
Yeah. Who knows? We might even struggle. They might be behind Watford and Leicester. Like, who knows?
Oh, and let's get this last one. Favorite away day for both of us. So your favorite away day, Pippa.
Ooh, the first one that came to mind, one that I really enjoyed, was Liverpool away. Probably not for you. We don't win there often. We don't win there often, but I really enjoyed the atmosphere. What other away game have I really enjoyed? All right, come back to me. You've been to loads, so it'll be harder for you to choose.
Even though, right, it's a very dangerous game for me to go to. It's the North London Derby, Tottenham.
Oh, I've never been.
It's always enjoyable because they're just the atmosphere. Do you know what? On the one aspect, it's so enjoyable because it reminds you like the atmosphere, everything. It's just buzzing from start to finish. On the other hand, it's the game where you're the most nerve-wracked because you just do not want to lose at all costs. But I do enjoy that as an away day, you know what I mean? But I'd say as just purely on an atmosphere basis, on actual like going and visiting and enjoying the away day, I don't know.
How do you choose? You've had so many nice experiences on the road, traveling up and down the country.
You get hand back to you now. Come on, you must have an answer by now.
I haven't been to many away games. I've been to many games that are not Arsenal. I've been to so many other grounds in the UK. But for Arsenal away, I've only ever been to, I think, Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea, which is not really away. West Ham's not really away. And who else? I haven't been to lots, you know.
Best away, it's hard, you know. Best away in the Premier League is, you know what I like as well? I like away days, right? When you like FA Cup and that, where you go to different grounds that you haven't been to for a long time. So I remember a couple of seasons ago when we played Preston. I really enjoyed that, even though it's not the most
ground.
Yeah, even though it's not the most glamorous of ground, but I enjoyed it because it's just like you don't get to go to those grounds much. You know, so I enjoy those sort of games. I think I enjoy those. In the Premier League, I'd enjoy Newcastle, but they put you up too high.
I've seen the
Yes, I can never enjoy the game enough because you're just removed from the whole atmosphere.
What about all the Champions League and Europa League games you've been to? You're not even including them. That's an away day. There's no way it's away couple of days.
It's what you're saying, favourite away days, whether I've had favourite moments at grounds.
Yeah.
That are incredible. I think he's more asking like, what's your favourite away day? What game is it that you enjoyed? You look forward to going to that game? And I'd say it'd have to be the North London derby. Although it's not my favourite ground to go to. Favourite away, I think if you're packaging it all up as everything, like atmosphere, the ground itself, the people, the experience, I don't know which one to pick. And a lot of grounds have got their own sort of unique sort of, and then there's some grounds like you said, Liverpool, the atmosphere is great, but we only always go there and get smashed. So I don't enjoy that. Yeah. You know.
I went there, we drew 2-2, I think.
Well, yeah, well done to you, because recently every time I go out there, man, we're getting slapped up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to pick someone. I'll go for, who do we beat up regularly?
Consistency, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, our waveform's been so poor over the years, man.
That one.
What to pick? Oh,
Can't even say Norwich.
that's not a bad away day, actually. Norwich, not bad. Oh gosh, man, it's that's hard, you know.
Yeah.
I still haven't given an answer now.
What about Leicester? I think Leicester would be a good one, no?
No, because we keep going and getting smashed up there as well.
Burnley, what's worth more? Burnley?
Burnley's, let me be kind to Burnley fans. What I say, it's not the most glamorous of towns to go to. There is a brilliant chip shop though up there when you're leaving. A wicked chip shop here, but it's not the most glamorous of.
Oh, do you know what I like? I like the Amex ground. What about Brighton? Amex is nice.
Brighton's all right. The only thing about Brighton though, it's in the middle of nowhere.
But it's a nice quick drive. Only down the road.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and then they like when you park your car, they charge you about £20 a park. I don't know. It's a nice ground. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not a bad one. That is not bad. Yeah, Brighton. Well, we were thinking.
He can't choose. He's been to every ground in the world.
Park's all right. I like Villa Park.
Oh, I haven't been there, you know.
Yeah, Villa Park's a good one.
No, I haven't been there.
Good atmosphere. Always a good atmosphere. Always some good banter. I don't know, man. You know what? I'll come back when I do my Q&A tomorrow. I'm gonna have a think about it overnight and come back with an answer, because it's got to be the overall package of.
Oh my God, Pompey Stadium. That was one of the last away games I went to before this all started. Portsmouth. I actually like that. That's a good shout.
That's what I'm saying. When you go to those grounds that you don't get to go to regularly, I enjoy those sometimes. That's why I always like when we get the FA Cup runs, I like to get drawn against sort of championship teams or teams that we never ever go to.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that Preston one a couple of seasons ago, because I was like, you know, we went to Forest as well, and you go to those grounds, you're not used to going there. You know, Blackpool, when we played them, that would have been good had their fans have been in there.
What was that team again that we played, and the goalkeeper was eating the pie?
That was Sutton United.
Sutton.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there, surely.
Yeah, those sort of grounds but their ground was a bit too small. But
tiny.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a think about it. I'll let people know tomorrow. But listen, thanks for watching the show, Pippa. Thank you very much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual. Of course, let's hope that the women's game can get back on soon. But it's been great having you, Pippa, on tonight, and great having everybody else. And look forward to seeing you all again in the morning.